the farmer's walk. This is the non-traditional strongman type of exercise that we're going to do. How to do it. I find this to be very a simplistic exercise to get a lot of bang for the buck. We have farmer sandals here, and there are different variables that we can use that I have to demonstrate in a few minutes. But basically on the farmer's walk, we're going to pick up the farmer's handles here. Okay. When we pick them up, we want to make sure too, if there is weight on here, we don't have weight on here just for demonstration purposes, but we'll load this, okay? So when she actually picks it up, we make sure that she's in a strong, deadlift style position to make sure that she's not lifting with her back and she's lifting appropriately. We want to make sure that our hands are in the middle of these bars here. Okay, and we do that because if we're a little bit too far forward, you'll see that the load will then, be dipping down, which will create a safety hazard, in which we'll have this type of issue here, where if it gets heavy and she starts running or leaning, you'll find that that might stick and she might drop it and put herself at risk. The same thing with the reverse style. She might be dragging behind. So just to keep everything nice in the right position here, we want to make sure that the hands are there. Okay. So really the only cues for that is appropriately lift the bars off the ground. All right. Make sure that the hands are in the center of the implement here. Okay. We want to make sure that our shoulders are directly over our hips. Okay, and that we stay tight with the upper back. Okay, we don't want to teach rounding shoulders. We want to fight that resistance. Okay, and maintain a tight back. All right, and again, like I said, with the shoulders directly over the hips. Okay, so common errors I kind of went over with a little bit as I was instructing how to do it is we lift it up off the ground incorrectly. If the hands are in center, it might create an issue where we are unbalanced. Okay. And we want to make sure that we're standing erect with the the core tight and the shoulders. All right. So obviously some of the common errors would be shoulders leaning forward, okay, and leaning too far over the hips, like so. All right. So just to correct that, you just keep the client to be mindful. Okay. Make sure you cue them to shoulders back, stand upright. All right. So what it would look like is again like a strong man. All right. She would just walk about 20 yards, and then she would just turn around and come back. Okay, and you can just hand spin again. We're going to do one more. All right, so one of the things too, you saw that she was able to, walk in a straight line again, where you may find that the actual spinning or the rotation of that getting to that ending distance and moving around might cause issues with the rotation of the with their torso. Okay, so a regression of that, okay, to eliminate that if there's any pain, there's two things you can do. You can put the weight down, pivot yourself, and then pick them back up to come back. Okay. Which you might lose a little bit of the time under tension or the aerobic effect that you were trying to get here in this exercise. So what we like to do here is we like to have the client do a figure 8. All right, so the client will take a wide turn, all right, to eliminate that rotational force. Okay, so Diane will now demonstrate. Okay, so maybe a big figure 8. Now, you can put those down. Now, some of the benefits are the, how well the core is activated. Okay, you'll get total body strength. The aerobic endurance will be trained here. For athletes, this is fantastic to train their grip strength, as well as their strength to their upper back. Again, advantages of this exercise over others is the easiness for this to be performed. You don't need many things here. So as you can see, we have these implements here, the farmer's handles. They're specific to what we like. We just load that with a plate. They had a clip on for safety. But if you don't have that, it could be as easy as fill in 2 buckets of water all right, or stand and just walking a certain distance, okay, and you still get the same type of effect. All right, so, you know, progressions, regressions, you know, as far as a regression would be, you know, if you don't have these or your client's not, you know, strong enough to handle this, you know, as you can see here, we have dumbbells and kettlebells that you can, you know, utilize. You know, the dumbbell's a little bit easier to handle, okay? You know, you just, again, same thing, make sure the hand's in the middle, you know, pick it up with a good form here, you know, hips underneath the shoulders, shoulders back and strong, all right, and we just walk 20 yards, and then the same thing with the kettlebells, same concept for that. Now, regression, you know, you just eliminate the hold if somebody has a hand issue or any, you know, not able to, you know, do something like that. We have a weighted vest, okay? You can kind of get the same results here. As you can see, you know, you're going for that aerobic work here with the vest, okay? You just put the vest over the client, okay? Okay, you just strap them in, okay? And we just do this to make sure that, you know, the weights don't either fall, okay, out from the sides, and to make sure that there's like a constant pressure, okay? It's not going all over, it's not an unstable exercise here. Okay, and we do the same thing, we just walk down and back. Okay, and now as for the appropriateness for all, again, this is another exercise that I feel is very appropriate for any background. The elderly, the obese, you know, children, you know, basically you can accommodate their strength, okay, or even their lack of strength with their grip strength with the dumbbells, okay, so, or the smaller kettlebells. So you can accommodate to fit that person. Again, with the progression and regressions, you can take this style or this exercise, okay, and make it a little bit more individualized, which you'll see you'll get a lot of benefits for this. Again, they are, you know, with strongman, people like to perform strongman exercises, okay, because it is easy. They can handle this weight. They, you know, get good conditioning from there. They get, you know, they get a good feel from it. So I find this, like I said, as long as somebody is not injured to the point where they cannot handle something, or appropriate weight, you know, like we can accommodate that. So I do find this to be, you know, appropriate for all. Now, some may argue the fact with, you know, with children, and, you know, maybe they're dropping it, you know, because, you know, studies show that, you know, the injuries for, you know, younger athletes typically are for their fingers and their toes. As long as they are mature enough to be in the gym and they're training, they should be mature enough to be able to, you know, hold a kettlebell or a dumbbell. And then worst case scenario, if they're not, we can always go with a softer medicine ball. You know, here we have, you know, a med ball of all different weights. We've got up to 4 pounds, okay, and you can vary the walk based off of what they're capable of. So this is the unconventional strongman farmer's walk.